Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of UA Eats. I'm UA, and yeah, this is our last day in Nashville, Tennessee, and unfortunately, as you can see, it's super rainy. The weather is not great. It's kind of raining cats and dogs outside, so unfortunately, we were hoping to spend today, walking Broad Street, getting our southern tourist on and, perusing the street, but unfortunately, it looks like, the weather kind of rained on our parade a little bit. But we decided, though, to make lemonade out of lemons. We got some local Rex to try a real southern / Tennessee treat. Super local, unpretentious food known as meat and three. So basically, meat and three sides. And they say that Arnold's is the place to go for this. Oh man, it's really coming down. Look at this. It's, we might have to hunker down in the car before we, before we can get out of here. Or at least maybe make a mad dash for the entrance. But now basically this is the South's version of like a home-cooked prefix meal. You get a main course, 3 sides, and I think they also sometimes have desserts, but I wouldn't know. I've never had it before. I just hear it's something that you should experience when you're in Tennessee and the South in general. So it is a shame that we're not gonna be able to explore downtown Nashville today before we leave for our flight. Hopefully our flight does not get grounded, but you know what, let's do it. Let's brave the elements and make a dash for Arnold's. Let's go. Ooh. Actually, look at how wet I got just from opening the door for a split second. So you know what? On second thought, let's wait for this to die down and then we'll stroll in. So be back soon. Look at this. I better get 2 of each animal soon. I don't know if I can round up 2 of each farm animal, but maybe I can get 2 of each protein for meat at least. So 2 of each steak, 2 ribeyes, 2 New York strips, 2 porterhouses, 2 filet mignons. Yeah, that should do the trick, right? All right, it looks like it finally stopped, so now's our chance. Go! All right, so a quick look at the menu before we go in. Every day of the week, they have different things, although some things look like they kind of overlap. Mostly your typical American, Southern American staples, your comfort foods, but they also occasionally have some pretty interesting things like these teriyaki vegetables. Of course, we gotta get a dessert while we're here too, so let's head in. Alright, so on the inside they have the same exact menu, just written in like chalk, but to be honest, the prices are not really that cheap. I mean, if you're gonna get 2 veggies, which I presume you will, it's gonna be about 15 bucks. But I think we're gonna do 3 veggies just to show you guys a little bit more, so 17 bucks, not cheap. And for dessert, this all looks great, but on a rainy day, for some reason, I'm really craving a pecan pie, so for 4 bucks, let's do it. It looks like they have a lot of problems with people parking in their lot and not eating there, so that's unfortunate. Oh, okay. I'll do 2 meats, I'll do fried chicken, and I'll do roast beef.
Okay, white or dark?
Dark, yes.
Okay.
Let me do collard greens. And I'll also do mashed potatoes. And mac and cheese. Actual. Thank you so much. Oh, is it included?
Yes.
Cornbread, please.
Would you like gravy on your mashed potatoes?
Yes, please. Thank you so much. All right, guys, so we are here with our Southern or Tennessee style meat and three, and let me show you what we got. It looks great. I think few places in the US can compare to the South when it comes to American food, and I think they made a mistake earlier because they subbed out the person serving me. So I wanted a roast beef and I wanted a fried chicken because I wanted to review both, but the second person, I think he forgot about the roast beef, but it's okay. I think this is plenty of food regardless. Other than fried chicken, we got mac and cheese, a cornbread, collard greens, and mashed potatoes with some gravy in the middle, like a domed volcano. And of course, gotta get a pie while we're down here. is that not a beautiful looking pecan pie, if you ask me? So enough chat, let's dive in. Fried chicken, let's go. Now this is a really well regarded place, so my hopes are up that this is gonna be a pretty satisfying bite of fried bird. Really good. We ate at Hattie B's the other day. This is a little bit different. Hattie B's was good and it was fried to order, but it still kind of tasted sort of like a, sort of like a fast food chicken. But this is more like your home cooked, like your homemade pan fried chicken, like almost in like your grandma or your mom's house, like a southern grandma's home. And it's amazing. It's not too oily, not too greasy on the outside. I mean, look at my fingers, They're not exactly dry, but they're not too oily. But it's juicy on the inside as well. And I mean, just look at that beautifully seasoned batter. Like, I hate when the fried chicken is not really seasoned. It's just, the batter flavor, which I guess has like a more pure flavor, but tends to make it taste more oily. In this case, it's well seasoned with that pepper and spices. The chicken is moist and not overcooked at all. Nice and juicy. And earlier you saw some heat waves coming out of it, so it's not like it's been sitting out at like a buffet for like hours and hours, Delicious. Next up, let's try some mashed potatoes, just on its own. Pretty good. I think the mashed potatoes could be a little bit more buttery, but they're very good. I mean, hopefully you can tell by looking at them, like, the chunks that are still in them, that these are definitely homemade. They're made from real potatoes being mashed. None of that fake stuff from a box, or a carton. I do think they could be a little bit more buttery, but they're so homemade in taste. Great consistency, just absolutely delicious. And let's try some with the beef gravy. See how that jazzes it up, hopefully. The gravy's interesting. I personally think it's a little runny. I personally prefer it to be a little bit more thick and heavy and indulgent, and a little bit more flour added to it to thicken it. This gravy is a little bit on the watery end, a little bit runny. Maybe it's kind of just like natural beef juices more so than a gravy made on its own with from a roux or something. But overall, the potatoes themselves are great. Like, I almost prefer eating the potatoes on their own without the beef juice to mix with it, but not bad. I probably prefer the mashed potatoes I make at home. Like, I think I make a pretty mean mashed potatoes homemade, but pretty solid. And you can get like home cooking just right here. And I gotta say one more thing is that I just love how chill and like unpretentious this place is. These are like my favorite places to eat. It's like what a cafeteria should be. I have all this like trauma eating cafeteria food growing up in public school here, and I hear public school cafeteria food has gotten way better. That's what I hear. Like, I hear like ever since Gen Z, it's been much better. But for me, it was just awful. It was just all like gross processed food, pre-frozen, no doubt. Anything that was decent, like the pizza, was just unbelievably greasy and beyond belief, and it's shocking that that was allowed to be served to kids every day. But I feel like here is kind of like what a cafeteria should be, homey food, freshly made food, just nice, nutritious, and energy-dense food to get you through the day. And so far, that's what it seems like I'm getting with a meat and 3 combo here. All right, let's change the palate a bit with some sweet tea. Shoot, I think we forgot to grab straws, but no matter. We can do it the old-fashioned way, just drink it straight up. I dig the sweet tea. Really, really good. I feel like for some reason sweet teas up north, like southern sweet teas, for some reason tend to be way too sweet. Like way too obnoxiously sweet. But here, it's more balanced. The sweet tea here, like, it's sweet, but not in like an artificial sugary way. I mean, yes, but I don't know, like it pairs better with the tea and it's more balanced. And if you add lots of ice, like, it feels refreshing and it pairs very well, the sweetness, with all the more heavy oily food. So really digging that. A delicious baked mac and cheese with some crispy baked bits on top and creamy inside. I can't wait. Oh man, I think if there's one food I could eat every day if I wanted, if there were no health side effects, it would be mac and cheese. And just objectively better, below the Mason-Dixon line. Oh wow. Mac and cheese is good, right?
Can I try?
Oh, you didn't get it, okay. Tina didn't get it, try it.
Oh, pretty good.
It's not bad, right? It's pretty good, right? It's not too heavy, I think.
I like this better than the one we had at Happy's.
It's not bad, right?
I think it will be better if I get the part where like there's like the sear.
Oh, like the dried,
crispy part.
the crispy part on top. Yeah. Sorry.
It's already pretty good.
Sorry, I ate that. Sorry, Tina. First come, first serve. But look what you did, Tina. You ate almost half of my mac and cheese. It's okay. You're forgiven. Yeah, no. Basically, the inside is like more white cheese and creamy. The outside is like the cheddar, and it was great when it was crispy. So, Tina, you're just gonna have to take my word for it. It was excellent. Actually, Tina, there's a bit here if you want to eat it. But yeah, I just like that the consistency is great of this mac and cheese. It's not too drippy or too heavy or thick. Like, we all love those indulgent mac and cheeses, but it's also lame when they're like too heavy, you know? Like, you feel like you're putting on like 1,000 pounds eating them. Like, there is so much thing as too rich, but this mac, it's well balanced. Cheese blend is perfect. Sauce has the right consistency, and the texture, like that crispiness on top, very creamy on the inside, and not too rich. Oh. And underrated aspect is that the pasta noodles, like the macaroni, is also like in between al dente and soft. So, you know, again, adding to the great texture. Collard greens. May as well get some healthy food while we're at it, you know, so we can justify the rest of the meal. Some nice leafy collard greens. They're good, they taste really fresh, but yeah, I mean, as you can tell, they're very fresh and, you know, they're not overboiled to like mush or anything. But the main thing I don't like about the collard greens is that it's just too salty. You know, like there's too much salt, and I know collard greens is not always the healthiest vegetable choice, but yeah, in this case, it's just too much sodium, and the sodium distracts from everything else that's great, like the freshness of the leaves and the great texture of them, as well as I believe what could be pork or smoked turkey on the inside. I think I kind of taste some flavor in there. Next up, cornbread. Ooh, and it's still warm. Everything here is just freshly made. I got high hopes for this. It's a little dry. I need some liquid. So Tina liked it. It's possible I just got unlucky with a less good piece, but I find it kind of like dry and crumbly, as you can see. Like, I think it needs to be a little more moist. I've had better cornbreads. Harlem, there are some restaurants, some soul food restaurants that do killer cornbread. This one's not so much for me. Like, it's a little mealy, it's a little too dry. Like, I was reaching for the iced tea, you know, I was reaching for the iced tea just to really help it slide down easier. It's freshly baked. Like, I like the little grainy cornbread texture on the inside, but you know, I would say that this one's not so much for me. But last, but hopefully not least, this epic looking pecan pie, and this, I can just tell, is going to be amazing. Time to dig into this pecan pie. Ooh, it's sticky. It's hard to pick up. All right, come on. Look at this delicious, indulgent, sticky pecan pie. It's not just girls who like to have fun. Food vloggers like to have fun too when they're eating, you know, delicious comfort foods. Wow, that was fantastic. I think that might have been the best pecan pie I've ever had. One of the best. That was absolutely fantastic. Kind of reminds me of the South Jersey sticky buns. They're bringing out what's great about it. Like the nut flavor, the crunch from the nuts. They're probably roasting it in advance to really bring out the fresh, you know, fragrant flavor from the nuts. And then the stickiness kind of almost binds everything together. You're right. Like, I thought it also was going to be really indulgent and, you know, not really pleasant and just a sticky mess like those sticky buns in South Jersey, which I'm not always a fan of. But no, the stickiness is like an emulsifier. It's sweet, but not too sweet. Not like a artificially overbearing sweetness. The nuts add a perfect crunch, and it's really amplifying the flavor of the pecans. Like, it's a real pecan pie, not just like sugar pie that has some pecans on it for decoration. But guys, honestly guys, I mean, I was excited to try this, but I had tempered expectations. Like, you know, on YouTube, people sometimes they will kind of like overhype things. They will be like, gas station food is the best, and you know, vending machine food in Japan is the best, and oftentimes things like, like McDonald's in like China and Japan. I've had both, for example. Like, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's probably better than America in some ways, but I would say often it's overrated how awesome it is. It's kind of overly romanticized. I would say though that this meat in 3, it definitely lived up to the hype. I would say that it wasn't quite as cheap as I was hoping, but you get a ton of food. It's like when you go to a buffet and you're excited to crush all the food, but the food often ends up being pretty mid. But look, Tina just destroyed her whole plate. She loved it. It's basically what you want a buffet to be in your mind, but in real life. Yeah, guys, it was great, and this Arnold's place especially was good. So if you're ever in the South or Tennessee, it's great. This is some real home cooking, and you know, this is almost like the real America, and I love it. So let me know what you think in the comments. Do you eat meat in 3 often, or have you had it before if you're not from the area? And can you recommend me another great meat in 3 spot? Let me know in the comments, because great minds eat alike. As always, before I continue to inhale the rest of my meal, if you like my vids, like and subscribe. That way you stay up to date whenever I post another vid. This mac and cheese is really to die for, so gonna eat all this despite the caloric intake. So until next time, I'll see you later.